This is Becky Shulo with my weekly video going through the process of marketing your art to a niche. And I apologize, this is a day late. I typically like to put these out on Tuesday, but yesterday I had a program that I put on and I ended up just running out of time. So in today's video, we are continuing to talk about the 7 steps or work through the 7 steps in marketing your art to a niche. We are in step 1, which is to identify the niche or the audience. And as the first step, we're talking about connections and how people connect to your work and how through recognizing those connections, we can start to think about a niche. So the first one we talked about, the first type of connection last week was through relationships and how people that you already know will have a natural interest to consider and engage with your work. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody that you know is going to buy your work, and it doesn't mean that we should be hammering our friends, family, and associates over the head to buy our work, but it does mean that we should start with our immediate circle and don't leave them out when we're sharing our work. So as we make these connections and interactions, and as those people that we already know start to interact with us, we'll start to understand what they tell us about the work. And from that, we can start to think about a niche. So another way that people connect with your work, or actually 2 more ways that I'm going to talk about today. One is subject matter and one is function. So subject matter is pretty easy to talk about. If you've followed me for any time, you know that my first success in marketing art was with an artist who was creating art around the subject matter of bluegrass music. So we knew right out of the gate where we had an idea that people that were fans of that music or within the industry might be interested in the art, and they were. So that was a pretty easy niche to find. Now, if you are creating a body of work around a specific interest or group like this, it doesn't mean that they are sitting around Googling, I want to find an artist that's creating this type of work. They might be in certain cases, but not necessarily. But if you can put yourself in front of the group or the niche, then once they see the work, they're going to have that connection, which is going to serve you in growing within that niche. Now, 2 things about subject. Don't create work because you see a niche that you think might be lucrative and just do it for that reason. I want you to be creating work that is authentic for you and that you truly are moved to create. With the case of the bluegrass painter, he is a bluegrass musician. So that made sense for him. And it was a love and passion that he wanted to share in his art. Now, the other thing I'd like to say about subject is that you don't have to create just think that you're just stuck in that one niche forever either, or worry about that. You can do other things. But when it comes to marketing and selling your work, if you have a large body of work around some type of subject like this, then it makes sense to create some kind of marketing plan towards that audience. So again, it's not the only thing that you have to create, but you're going to want to present into that niche in a way that makes sense for them. And we'll talk about that in later videos, but those are just 2 points I like to make around subject matter. Okay, so the second one is function. So function is just, I need something and I'm going to purchase your work because it serves a function for me. Personally, I love to be able to purchase from artists. So one way that I can do that is when it comes time for gift giving. If I can find something that's an original piece of art that I think would make a great gift, I love to be able to do that. There are other people like me out there. So that's a first perfect example of function. The other ways are things that people need. So let's give some examples. Do you create something that could be gifted for a special occasion, like a wedding gift, or maybe like jewelry for a bridesmaid's gift, or house portraits for housewarming gifts? those are just a few examples of how your work, beyond its purpose, beyond the purpose of being just a great piece of art, it is serving a purpose for the person that is purchasing it. I once purchased a lamp that I needed a lamp for a particular table, and I loved this fiber artist's work that she was doing. So my first investment in purchasing her work was to purchase a lamp that she created. So it was like I got this really cool lamp and I loved it because I loved her work, but it was serving a function for me. And then I went on to buy some other two-dimensional work from her, but that first connection was made with that functional lamp. So it's just something to think about. Again, like with the subject matter, it's not the only reason you're creating your work. And it's not the only reason the only marketing niche or the only way that you're going to market your work, but it is one way and one path, one channel for you to sell. So those are two pretty easy ways to identify how people might connect with your work. And then once they do that, your job is to keep that connection going, to build that relationship. Of course, we're going to talk about that in future videos. Right now, we're just kind of starting to think about, okay, what are some ways people are coming to me? Why are they finding me? What is the connection? So that's it for today. Next time, I'm going to talk about a couple of more connections, and then from there, we're going to start moving on. So just one more week of this. If you ever have questions, you can leave them in the comments below or just email me directly. I will put my email address and I put some other resources in the box below the video. So that's it for today, and thanks.